What is going on YouTube? My name is Sweat if you guys are new, and welcome back to another Apex Legends video. In today's video, we're going to be going over 10 beginner tips that every new Apex Legends player needs to master if you're trying to get serious about the game. During the brainstorming process of this list, I thought it would be beneficial to all of you new players watching if I went in order from right when you hop into the firing range for the first time and have never even played the game before. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so the first thing that I usually tweak or mess around with when I first start up a game that I've never played before would probably be the settings. Now, playing a game without the correct settings, or at least settings that you're comfortable with, is like trying to change the channel on a new TV remote completely blindfolded. It's not going to go well, to say the least. So right here, I'm going to go through every one of my settings and explain what each of them do to the best of my ability. I know I've covered my settings a lot in the past, so if you would like to skip over this portion of the video, then I completely understand. That is why I will have the timestamps in the description below, because this will be a very lengthy subject that I'm going to cover here. Alright guys, so jumping into the gameplay settings here, I'm going to go through each and every one like I said, starting off in the gameplay tab. Interact prompt style, that is just going to show information about the weapons, items that you're picking up. I would recommend keeping that on default because most of you guys are beginners and you're going to want the most information possible about each item. Compact is really only for experienced players. They don't want as much clutter on their screen, but for the time being, I would definitely keep this on default. Button hints, I would keep that on if you're a newer player. I have it off because I'm more experienced, and it's just going to tell you what buttons you're going to want to hit to like reload and press to do your ultimate ability and your tactical ability and stuff like that. So I would keep button hints on. All right, so this X with shield icon, I actually had to test this out to see exactly what it does. But you're going to see that it actually, this is preference, okay? But when you shoot your weapon, you'll see a little X popping up on your screen. And in my honest opinion, I would turn that off because it's going to give you the most realistic feel and probably a little less clutter on your screen. You can see right now I have no X with icon right there. So that is what the crosshair damage feedback will do. As for damage numbers, I have that on stacking right now. If you turn that to both, it will show the stacking you saw and the added up total on the right, but I don't like clutter on my screen like I said, so I just have that on stacking, and that will show you the total amount of damage that you are doing with a little amount of clutter on the screen. As for ping opacity goes, I would have this on faded probably because you want to see through your teammates' ping, so faded is probably the best option. Obituaries only tells you which enemies that you kill. Like if you go over and look at their death box, it's going to show their name. That's not really a big deal whatsoever. Minimap rotation, I have this off. I prefer it off, that way my minimap is not rotating at all times. Weapon auto cycle on empty, I would have that off. You need to get used to changing your own weapon as it gets low on ammo. Auto sprint, I have that off, but if you want to turn that on, that is completely up to you. A lot of people actually like auto sprint on. I am not one of those people. And also the same thing goes for double tap sprint. I have that off. You can also turn that on. Incoming damage feedback on 3D. I just these are, like I said before, these are all preferences. This first page is a lot of preferences. Taking damage closes deathbox menu. I would have this off, okay? Because once you're trying to shield swap, you're going to learn later in on your Apex Legends journey, your experience, what shield swapping is, and just grabbing shields off the ground and through death boxes. You're not going to want to get kicked out of death boxes, so I have that off. Trust me right now, I'm not going to explain it too far in depth, but just keep that off. Streamer mode I have off. Usage sharing enabled. Colorblind mode is a big one that a lot of people tell me or ask me why I use certain colorblind settings. I feel like Tritanopia is the most vibrant, and it actually turns Wattson fences yellow and it turns your reticle yellow. So I have that on Tritanopia. Give it a shot yourselves. It's much clearer than the red reticle. I prefer the yellow 100 times over. That's why I have that. Subtitles for me are off. Subtitle size doesn't matter. Accessible chat features are off, and convert incoming voice to chat text I have off. Onto the controller settings. These are going to be huge for you. And the button layout we're going to start off with. This is really huge, okay? You want the correct button layout for your playstyle, okay? I have a SCUF controller, which means I run default settings. I have my back paddles bound to A and B, so I don't really need to run like claw or button jumper or button puncher. But take a look through these, and whatever feels comfortable, just slap on. On the stick layout, I have that on default. No southpaw, no legacy, no legacy southpaw for me. Interact button reload, I have that on tap. I don't like to hold the button down all the way through the reload or all the way through the zipline process or whatever you're going for. My crouch button is on hold, guys, and that is also because I have a SCUF controller, but I would recommend having that on toggle if you play normally. If you play without a SCUF controller, I would probably have that on toggle, because the reason I have it on hold is I can very, very easily hit my paddles and just spam crouch while you guys might not be able to do so. My aim button I do have on hold. It gives it a classic Call of Duty feel and not like a PUBG feel where you're toggling. I know you can switch your settings in PUBG, but the basic PUBG feel is you just toggle your aim, and that's not what we want here. I want this to be like a basic shooter. Trigger dead zones. You're going to want to have this on none, guys. If I have my trigger dead zones on none, exactly when I hit the button, okay, that is when my gunfire is going to go off. That's when my gun is going to shoot. If you have your trigger dead zones on max and you shoot at the exact same time, I'm going to win the gunfight. So keep it on none trigger dead zones. Menu cursor speed is how fast your cursor moves around the menu, like you can see right now, and that is just personal preference. Look sensitivity, mine is on 6.3. Give it a shot, 6.3, and then you can change it if anything is wrong per optics settings. You can take a look at mine right now, try them out for yourselves, but you're gonna have to tweak these. These are all based on what optics you are running. Response curve, I have mine on classic. Okay, I've tried classic, I've tried steady, I've tried linear. I have not tried fine aim, I have not tried high velocity, but out of those three that I've tried, I would suggest using classic to start off, and then if you're feeling really crazy, linear is the second best, or even arguably one of the best response curves. So try that out. Linear is going to be obviously raw input like it says, and then classic is going to be like the classic, like again, Call of Duty feel type of aiming. Look dead zone is on none. You're going to want to put that on small if you have controller drift, or large if you have a lot of controller drift, but mine is on small. Movement dead zone on small. Inverted look is off, and vibration is going to be off. That's a preference right there. Advanced look controls, if you want to dive into these, you can turn these on and customize everything in depth, but I don't feel like it's very useful, so I will turn that off, and I've never really rocked with advanced look controls. On to the video settings. My brightness is in the middle, and I would keep it that way. Field of view, you're going to want to increase your field of view ever so slightly. From it starts off on 70, okay, and we're going to take a look really quickly at what 70 looks like. Way farther in, everything feels way slower. Look how like terrible that looks. Okay, you're going to want to increase that incrementally. I run mine on max, but you can run yours, I would say, anywhere from 96 all the way to 100 would be good. I'm going to keep mine on max, and we got sprint view shake is on minimal. You're going to want to change that to minimal. You don't want sprint view shake on, okay? And the audio settings, that is completely up to you. I'm not really going to tell you what to do on the audio settings. You can copy mine. You can do your own, whatever you need. But that is about it for the settings portion. We're going to move on to the next portion of this video right now. I hope you guys enjoyed that little walkthrough real quick. And if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments down below. Once you have all of your settings how you would like them, next I would start worrying about which legend you're going to play and get the hang of. Most players in Apex Legends will gravitate towards 2 or 3 legends of their choice because they feel more comfortable with each legend's abilities. If you are brand spanking new to the game, each legend has their own unique abilities similar to a game like Overwatch. Now, if you would like to check out each individual legend's abilities, then all you need to do is select them in the menu or go to the character menu, select in the firing range. Once you've selected a legend, you want to get the feel of what their abilities do in the firing range, and then eventually test them out in public matches to see if you enjoy using them. I would say give each legend at least 3 games of testing, and by that point you should come up with a list of the top 3 legends that you like playing and start getting used to them more by continuously playing them and learning their abilities inside and out. Next on our list today would be knowing what to carry in our backpack before we even worry about weapon skill, movement, or positioning on the map. The first thing I will say is that some weapons require more ammunition than others in Apex Legends. For example, shotguns will only require you to hold about 32 bullets of ammo at max, while submachine guns can call for anywhere around 200 bullets at any given time. The way I like to set up my backpack is by having at least 180 to 200 bullets of any ammo that goes into a full auto weapon or assault rifle. After you have the necessary ammo, I would try to carry around 8 shield cells, 4 syringes, and 2 grenades if you're feeling spicy. Now I do have to warn you and say this will differ based on which variant backpack you have. White backpacks can carry next to nothing, while gold backpacks can let you carry a ton of items at once. A few other quick things that you should know is that shield batteries will replenish your entire shield, while shield cells will only heal 1 bar of your shield. Medkits will heal you fully, while syringes will only heal 1 bar of your health. And Phoenix kits will restore all of your health and shield to max. One last thing that you should do is always have a shield battery ready and on hand selected as your next heal, because it gives you the most bang for your buck. It gives you the most shield possible in a quick amount of time. After worrying about your backpack storage, I would start to think about map positioning. The thing with positioning is that it will take a lot of map knowledge to get used to and master. The main goal of map positioning though is to always have the height advantage, and if possible you want to be out of the storm at all times. This of course means paying close attention to the map as the ring closes. So let's show an example real quick in the firing range of what positions you want to look for in game. Alright guys, so like I was talking about with positioning, good positions would be like some examples of good positions would be like right up here. You just climb up here real quick, and right here you're looking down at enemies. Let's say they're below you right now, you're looking down at them, and what their view is going to look like is looking right up at you, and only your head is going to be showing. But if we are up here, okay, we're up here down looking at them, we can see their whole body. We're taking shots at them, peek back down, take shots, peek back down, take shots. So that is one good example of high ground. Anywhere you can really head peek somebody, like right here where you can just duck back into cover real quick and they are below you out in the open. Some more examples like right here, for example, if a enemy is down below you right here, pop over, take some shots at them. This is exactly what I mean by high ground. Up here, we zip up here. All right, we're holding this position, taking some shots at people, taking some shots at these dummies over here, and then peeking back if they're shooting back at us, and just trying to save as much health as possible while getting the most bang for our buck, really. And one more example is just like right up here. All right, taking some shots at the enemies, missing everything, you know, because we're so good at aiming. But yeah, just making sure that you have a lot of cover around you and just getting the best position possible. And most of the time, 99% of the time, the best position is going to be at the height advantage. Alright, so using cover correctly can be absolutely crucial in Apex Legends, as it always gives you the upper hand to teams that are left out in the open. The reason this is the case is because you're always going to have a place to retreat to if you need to heal up or if the gunfight doesn't start in your favor. Adding on to what I said earlier about teams in the open having a severe disadvantage, try your absolute best not to be running or fighting out in the open. Another trick or technique that I want to discuss with you is called head glitching, which basically means that you take over a piece of cover where you can see the enemy's entire body, but they can only see your head. This is what you want to do because they will have to have absolute perfect accuracy in order to hit you. Alright, next up would be mastering every weapon's recoil pattern, and how you would do this is by going into the firing range and analyzing a certain weapon's recoil pattern and then countering it by aiming your right analog stick or mouse in the opposite direction. So for this example, I'm going to be using a Spitfire and a Flatline. These have different recoils. Both of these weapons have different recoils. So let's really quickly, I'm not holding down any buttons when I'm doing this, only the shoot button. We're going to see what the Spitfire recoil looks like. Alright, so you guys can see that it goes up to the left, little to the right, over to the left, over to the right, over to the left, and over to the right again. So how we're going to combat this is by right away, pulling down to the left, then the right, then the left, then the right, and that is going to be how it can combat this Spitfire recoil, and this is what that's going to look like. You can see it is way more concentrated than just letting it go. That is what holding down on your right analog stick is going to do, and just trying to concentrate more bullets. And we're going to see exactly how the Flatline looks right now without me holding down anything. Now you can see the flatline has a little bit of a different type of recoil pattern, but it is kind of similar. Over to the left, over to the right, to the left, and to the right. Okay, and what we're going to do with this is just pull straight down to the right and then to the left, and we're going to see exactly what that looks like. You can see how much more concentrated that is compared to the left there. Let me grab one more weapon quickly. I'm going to go over to the Havoc real quick, because this is a weapon that got a huge nerf, a big recoil nerf, and you're going to see exactly what it does on this weapon. This weapon is a little bit more different with the recoil as well. So this is me not holding down anything. And you can see how this one is a totally different recoil pattern than both of these weapons. This one just shoots straight up in the air after slowly, or after suddenly like jerking to the right. So we're going to jerk down to the left and then just hold it down the rest of the way, and we'll see how that looks. Once again, you can see it is way more concentrated over to the right than it is on the left. And you're going to do that with every single weapon in the firing range. And once you get the hang of every single one of them, then you are ready to move on to figuring out your weapon combinations that you want to run in live public matches or ranked lobbies. Alright, so after you have all your recoil patterns down to a T, then I would start thinking about a few weapon combinations you feel the most comfortable with and start normalizing picking those combinations up in game so that you can get very good with them. Right now, currently, my favorite combination to go to is the Flatline and the R99. Something about the Flatline from long range is just perfect for me, and then the R99 up close, this thing absolutely melts. But it is going to be completely your preference. You're going to have to try out each and every weapon, and the key to this is having one long range gun and one short range gun, and that is going to be the best combination in my personal preference. And if you want two short range weapons, if you're a close range player, if you want two snipers, if you're a long range player, just have a good combination that works for your play style. The Scout is a good long range weapon, along with the Prowler combination. Scout and Prowler, that is another dominant combination. But like I said, try them out on your own, try every weapon out, and once you're comfortable picking certain weapons up, then start running them over and over and over, and you're going to start lasering people. That is the key to success in this game. Now, this step or tip is going to come easy for some of you and be insanely difficult for others to comprehend, and that is going to be the aiming portion of Apex Legends and getting your accuracy on point so that you can not only hit targets that are standing still, but also moving ones. Now, the only real way to improve your accuracy is to hop into live matches and jump right into fights. If you're brand new to the game, then I would worry more about getting kills than focusing on wins, because that is how you will actually improve at the game. Although I said the only real way to improve at the game is fighting in public matches, there is a few drills that I like to do in order to warm up if I haven't held a controller in a day or so, and I'm going to go over those quickly with you right now. Alright guys, so I want to show you 3 quick, easy, simple drills that you can do. These are not in-depth whatsoever, just something to get your aim a little bit more warmed up. First drill is you're going to stand right here and do some 180 spins with both of your weapons on both sides of your body, just quickly practicing melting the target as fast as humanly possible. You're going to do that 3 times on each side. Okay, so we did that one side on that side, and we're going to turn the other way and do the exact same thing. You get the deal. And then you're going to switch weapons, do the exact same thing, and practice hitting as many shots as humanly possible as quick as possible. All right, drill number 2 is just going to be some quick spray transfer between targets. So we're going to start on the left and go all the way to the right, just basically locking onto targets as fast as you can and not missing as many bullets. So right here we start on the left, go to the middle, and go all the way to the right, and then we do that all the way back and forth about 3 to 5 times, whichever your preference. Get most of our shots over there and switch to the middle and then switch to the left, and you're going to do that about 3 to 5 times, like I said, until you are fully warmed up. All right, the third and final drill that I like to practice is just tracking these close range moving targets and then the long range moving targets back here. There's not much tracking that we can do in the firing range, but this is the best we have, so we'll make the most of it. All right, so we just shoot these guys about 3 or 4 times each, whatever your preference is. Shoot the back ones, shoot the front ones, and try to hit as many shots as possible. And that is going to about do it for the drills that I really like to practice if I'm not warmed up whatsoever. I'm sure there's a ton of other videos out on the internet of more drills if you want to start practicing your accuracy. But for this video, that is all I'm going to go over. Now this right here is arguably the most important aspect of Apex Legends because no other game has movement mechanics like it except maybe in the Titanfall series. I won't hop into advanced movements like wall jumping and such, but I do want you guys to get used to doing two things during gunfights: strafing and crouching. Strafing is the act of moving back and forth while still shooting your weapon. The reason you want to be doing this is because it will make your enemies miss more bullets than if you were just to stand still. The same thing goes for crouching. You want to throw in a crouch or two in order to avoid more bullets and have enemies shooting over your head at points and not allow them to hit as many headshots. Lastly, I just want to tell you to enjoy the learning process and experience of playing the game, because over time you lose that feeling of a new game and it becomes the same thing over and over and over again. Remember, at the end of the day, you should be playing to have fun with your friends or just to get enjoyment by yourself if that's what you desire. Now, it's been Sweat. I hope you all enjoyed this video and learned something. Make sure to subscribe for more Apex Legends content in the future. Peace out, guys.